Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Let's take a look at foundation issues and using French drain and sealing the wall to correct the problem. Here in the South, we have two different issues that we contend with. One is the tree roots. And you can see those roots just penetrating right through between the block and the footer. And then we have the problem of groundwater that rises up and gets into the floors of the house. So let's take a look at how we go about solving these issues. And you can do the same. If you're a DIYer, take a look.
Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. We're waterproofing the foundation, exterior waterproofing along a home here. So again, remember what the problem is, that water lays on top of this footer. And you can see the roots that come through the wall. These are very aggressive tree roots. They've come right through that mortar between the block and the foundation, and it's that size root inside underneath of that slab. There's lots of these that have come through. There's smaller ones that have come through as well, and we're gonna have to clean all this off, cut those off. The liquid rubber will seal this nicely, and it'll last, I don't know, 30 years, but it won't allow that water to come through. Next, we have to address the problem of water laying on top of this footer. So that's where your French drain comes in, the gravel perforated pipe. Footers run level. It's okay, it's not a big deal. One of the problems on this footer pour, you can see how high it is on this side versus this side. They created a channel here. So we definitely have to have perforated pipe and gravel that runs through here and comes over. It'll drop down into the sump pit. Through these holes, we'll cut these nipples off, go down a little bit deeper. The sump pump's gonna lift it up and send it out to the street. That'll keep this foundation dry. So here's another interesting problem that you find. You can see this root. This is the main water supply. Here's the shutoff. Has grown right around that thing. I've taken some time to cut off all the ends, and now I'm going to pry that baby out of there, I hope. See if it'll come out. Got to get more of the root out. Another water line right here. There we go. But yeah, water's been coming in right here. See, it's coming from PVC to copper, or that might be galvanized. It's copper coming into the house. And you can see that root. You see where the water line, the root grew right around that water line. Roots are nasty things. If you plant things too close to your house, this is what happens. So here's another great example of how water enters the foundation, the wall, and it just, you can see here's the footer, here's the first course of block. You can see the seam right here, the mortar. Water just goes right underneath, as well as little tiny roots. It just penetrates and goes through. Basement wall, crawl space wall, monolithic slab, makes no difference. Water gets underneath of there, and pressure it just comes right up into the floor, and pretty soon your hardwood floors are buckling. Okay, I've got the water running, just to let it run, and what it's doing is it's coming along the footer, and it's going to drop into the pit, and pump will kick on in just a few minutes. It really is a slow process. However, when groundwater rises up, this water becomes pretty severe, and it becomes almost like putting the hose directly into the pit. Water will come in here so fast that you need something to get it up and out of there. That's why we recommend using that Zoller M53. It's a great pump, really strong pump. So water's flowing, and you can see the problem I was talking about here. See how the water stays on the footer? So this becomes a two-part process. First part is to seal the wall. So I got to come back and get these roots off of here. Seal the wall with liquid rubber, and then we're going to put gravel perforated pipe all along here so it has a place to drain into the sump pit. So it's almost ready to kick on. So the float just kicked on. You can see how fast that water drains out of that pit. And I can't even get out here quick enough to show you, but you can see the discharge, the water out here in the yard. It works really good. And again, water flows along the gravel perforated pipe, which lays right there on top of that footer. And as it enters that system, it comes over here to the sump pit, sump basin, sump pump lifts it up and takes it out. So a lot of people ask me what product to use on that crawl space or basement wall or foundation wall like this. And what I suggest is Blackjack rubber coat number 57, and this is a premium rubberized fibered coating. And you'll notice once we open it up, you'll see it's got a lot of liquid up here at the top. That's fine. You can just stick this big mop, try to get one of these big mop kind of brushes because it's really thick stuff. Paintbrush works, but these mops work a lot better. And stick it down into the actual rubberized portion of it, the fibered coating. Get a good goopy gop on there, and then you start down at the bottom at the seam where the block meets the foundation. This product right here is about 50 bucks for 5 gallons, and you just have to figure out how far you want to go. We usually put 2 coats on, so we usually go through 2 or 3 of these on a typical job. 1 coat does work, but 2 coats is even better. When you start, go ahead and find yourself a stick or a piece of old pipe, and you got to try to stir it up just a little bit because it is really thick. It's rubberized fiber coating, and it's got a lot of liquid in it, just like any other paint. You know, you can always go to the shaker, but we just stir it up. We want to put that right down in that seam. We just paint across it. When you use the excess liquid, you want to come up the wall. Try. This has a seam of mortar, of stucco. We need to get underneath of that as well. We got to be real careful we don't get it on the siding. But yeah, this stuff works really good. So we went ahead and sealed a good portion of this foundation wall. This little hole right here, we're going to have to put some Portland cement, you know, some stucco back up over top of that and seal that again. This is drying right now, and we'll put another coat on there, but wow, this thing really sealed up nice, and they shouldn't get any water through there whether we did footer tile into the sump pit or not, but looking really, really good. So far, of course, we've already sealed the wall with liquid rubber. That's where you see that black tarry substance. Now we're getting ready to put our gravel perforated pipe. That is the footer tile. We call that a footer tile. And because we're in a sandy soil, I've got this all, we've got to surround that with geofabric, and then we'll put gravel around that as well. So we're getting there. We've got our sump pump installed, or our pit installed, and the inlet lines for the footer will come into the footer pipe, will come into the pump, the pit, lift it up and send it out. Okay, so we're coming around the back corner back here, and you can see we've got lots of gravel on top of our pipe, and it's actually encased inside the geofabric, and then we're going to fold that over. What we've done is we've used a piece of wood to help contain our gravel because it really gets spread out. And now we're going to backfill this section, finish covering, you know, pulling the geofabric over the gravel because we don't want that sand to go down into the gravel. And then we'll just continue the same process all the way around to the garage door. Okay, so we've got our gravel encased inside the inside the geofabric, comes all the way down to the sump pit. You can see we've got a downspout drain that comes around here also, and the discharge of the sump pump line. They all go over, they're going to connect into 6-inch at the other end. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.